Okay, hi guys, Ngangaroya here. I hope you're doing great. So today we're going to learn how to create a Twitter sentiment analysis tool that works like this, where you have a search term like war, or let's say love, and then you search like let's say 20 tweets, and when you run this, it returns a couple of things to us, where it will return the number of positive tweets, the number of neutral tweets, and number of negative tweets, and its general plurality. So if you have 5 basically means is positive, something that is more than 0 is positive, something less than 0 is negative. And it will also provide this bar graph that it uses Seaborn to create this, and you can see everything how it looks good. Okay, it uses a couple of packages like TextBlob, TwePy, says it uses Seaborn, Matplotlib, and Pandas, and we're going to learn how everything works. Basically, it takes a topic that we give it and analyzes the tweets, because these are tweets, analyzes the tweets and uses TextBlob, which is an NLP, basically a natural language processing tool or model which is pre-trained, and when it gets this, it goes through this NLP and gives us these results. And basically we have a lot of NLPs. These models, like for example, if you check on this tweet, to inspire and guide entrepreneurs is where I get my joy of contribution, which is a very positive term. So NLK categorizes them like this and gives us a general testament of 0.8. TextBlob checks on everything and gives us a testament of 0.8, or he also giving us a subjectivity. And then we have Flare, which works like this. This link will be in the description so you can see how it works and how you can use them generally. But in my example, I'll be using TextBlob, and you can change this to probably Wajakoya, improve this to 100 tweets, run this. Yeah, it might take some time, but when it finishes, gives us this, tells us that we have generally a positive vibe for Wajakoya, and we can have a positive of about 33, as you can see here. 56 are neutral and 11 are negative. We can save this image because we're using Seaborn. Sentiment, and that's how this works. So I'm going to explain how it works and how it comes up, and how all this code comes up from scratch. Hope we have fun. Okay, for us to begin, first of all, we need to develop a Twitter app. So we go to the apps.twitter, where we'll create a Twitter app where we'll get our API keys and our access tokens that we'll use in the creation of this NLP, or this Twitter sentiment analysis tool that will use the TextBlob natural language processing pre-trained model. First of all, we have to create this Twitter app. I will create it real quick. It's a very simple process. Just you go to a developer.twitter.com app, or you can just look for app.twitter.com. When you enter that, it will bring you to this page where you can create an app, but you have to have a very good working Twitter account that is basically has been not verified, but has a phone number there, an email there that Twitter can use to just send you the one-time pins, the OTPs, an account that is usable. That is the first step. You log into it, use this developer end of Twitter, and then create an application. I'll create it real quick so that we can begin. Okay, now I'm done. So in this whole process, what you need to do after you have done everything, you need to make sure you have copied your API key. It is very important, your API key, your API secret key, and the bearer token. Make sure you copy them, put them somewhere safe, and ensure you don't share them with anyone. And something else that you need to do, once you get to the dashboard here and you have undergone all the process of verification, or you go to your email address, you confirm the email, etc, etc, and you get to this dashboard, you'll see the projects and apps, and then when you open them, you will find your project, which you just give a name. Mine, I just gave it a name, Ngangangaroya Sentiment Tool. When you open this, you can see a couple of things here, but the most important thing I want you to check is these keys and tokens. This is where you'll get your access token and secret, your access token and your access secret token, where you can generate these things. You can regenerate these new keys, API keys and secret. All this you can regenerate them, but and you can also revoke this. But I've already copied mine, and make sure here when you generate, you use these keys now in our application, where you must have your access token and your access token secret. Okay, now let's move on to the building of the application itself. Okay, now let's proceed to the creation of the app itself. Use Sublime Text. You can use any IDE that you want. There are a couple of things that you need to start this. You need a couple of things to install. First of all, you need to install something called TextBlob. You need to install TextBlob, and you need to install TweetPy. These are the two things that you need to install. TweetPy. You install this using the command prompt. So these are the two things that you need to install. Pip install this, and let's first of all start by saving this application and call it Twitter Sentiment App. What's going on? Twitter Sentiment App. Perfect. Just make these capital letters. Twitter Sentiment App. Perfect. And it will be a Python file because you're using Python to create this application, so it is .py. Save this, and then now we need to install these two things. So, okay, I think I have made a mistake. Let me just redo this. I have put a comma here instead of a full stop. That's why it's not noticing it as. I'll just save it on the Twitter Sentiment App itself. Here, call it .py. Okay. So when it's .py, it will notice it as an Python application. So that's when you start writing import, maybe it will start working as a Python app. So we'll go to the command prompt now. We need to pip install TextBlob. To install. It will take a moment, and we need this TextBlob so that it is able to do the sentiment analysis. As you remember how the TextBlob works, and in comparison to the Flare and the NLTK, and why we decided to use TextBlob, but this is what we will use for this. We also need to install TweetPy. I'm spelling this every single time. What's going on? TweetPy. Perfect. It will install real quick. Seen the first one successfully installed, and also this one is successfully installed. Perfect. Now we have installed the applications that we need, the packages that we need. Now let's start working on the app now. So we need to import a couple of things here. So from TextBlob, it is blob, not blob. From TextBlob, import TextBlob. Sorry, I'm a little bit a flu has attacked me, but tech knows no sickness. So we have installed the from TextBlob. We install TextBlob. It's supposed to be like that. Then we need to import a couple of things here. So we need to import TweetPy, and we need to import sys. Perfect. So after doing this, we need to use the keys that we got in our application to make a connection of Twitter with our application. So we need this application that we're creating here to have a connection with Twitter, so that it can collect a couple of things there. So a couple of things that we need an API underscore key. We need API underscore key underscore secret. We need access token underscore token. We need access underscore token underscore secret. These are the things that we need. So this will be the keys that you got. You'll just put them here. This will be the keys that you got, the secret key that you got. We put it there. Like that. Perfect. So after doing this, after getting the keys and putting them there, we need to define an authentication handler. So we'll go auth underscore handler, which will be equal to TweetPy dot auth. Sorry, this is auth handler, and then it will take these parameters, which will be consumer key underscore key, consumer underscore key, which will be equal to API key, comma, consumer key secret. Sorry, it's supposed to be consumer secret, which will be equal to the API key secret. Okay, something else that we need to do is we need to set this. So we'll go auth underscore handler dot set underscore access access token, which is underscore access token, okay, which will take the parameters access token and access token secret. Okay, Then we need to tell it API, which will be equal to tweepy dot API into bracket auth handler. Okay, so far so good. So to recap what I've just said, you need to we have installed TextBlob, so you need from TextBlob to import TextBlob. We need to import tweepy and sys, and write our API key here, write our API key secret here, write our API token here, API token secret here. Just paste them here. We'll paste them later on, and then this is a process of the authentication process of use, so that you're able to connect through the API to your Twitter feed. So what you need now to do is create our search parameter, where we'll have a search. This search, let's just say search tweet. This search tweet will be equal to a certain word. Maybe we want to search Safaricom and see what the sentiment is in Twitter about Safaricom or Airtel or somebody like Wajakoya, etc. That is where we'll write that. We also need to have an amount of tweets that will be looked at, like can be 100, can be 1,000 tweets, etc. The more the tweets that we have, the more accurate it is. Accuracy here is not that straightforward, but if you have one tweet, its sentiment is not the same as 1,000 tweets. So the more the tweets you have with the law of big numbers, the more at least the accuracy the more accurate it will be. But TextBlob just takes individual words and gives them sentiments and then adds them up together to find if it's a negative or a positive sentiment. So it is not that how will I put it? It is not that super accurate, because if somebody says I'm not happy, that is something negative, but it will take happy as a positive term, and it will not it will just throw in as a positive term, but it will take not as a negative term. But you understand what I mean. So it is not super accurate, but it will work for whatever we are trying to do. So we'll have a tweet amount here, and I think we'll just have 20 for the first. We can change this as we move on. Then we need to define a cursor object in order to work on the search term. So we'll just go tweets will be equal to tweepy dot cursor. This cursor takes a method and an argument and an optional language. The method that we'll use is the one that we have up there, which is API. From this API here, we'll just take a method from it called search. Then we'll have something else here, which we'll just label q equals to search tweet, which is this one. Sorry, not search tweet. Yeah, search tweet here, which is the term that we'll put inside here, comma, and we can have now the language. Let's make the language be equal to English to avoid any miscalculations, because since we'll be searching for Kenyan things, Swahili will really mess up the whole NLP thing. So we'll just look for English terms and it will aggregate the English ones. Then we'll have something else here. We'll have the items, which will be the tweet amount. Perfect. Now what we need to do is now get the tweets themselves. So for tweeting tweets, we'll just print tweet.text. Perfect. Let me go ahead and put these API keys very fast. I'll just put the ones that I have, then I will regenerate them so that nobody else can use them. I'll put them real quick, then I will just make sure I regenerate all of them so that they cannot be reused by anyone. Okay, I've put my API keys and the secret key, but remember I had not yet generated these two, so we'll generate them right now very quick. And remember, these ones should be a secret to you unless you want to keep on regenerating and filling them up. There's no need, just make sure it is a secret for you. We'll generate this, copy this, paste it here, copy this, paste it there. Okay, as you have seen, save them in a secure location, treat them like passwords or a set of keys. If security has been compromised, regenerate them. Do not store them in a public place or shared document. Remember this, but I will go to step 3 immediately after I am done with this. I'll make sure I regenerate them. Yes, I've saved them actually here. And the switch tweet term, let's go Wajakoya. Not sure that's the spelling of Wajakoya. Go back here, let's see if that's the spelling. Wajakoya. President. Let's just get the name correct. It's Wajakoya. Okay, copy that, paste it there. Tweet amount 20 of them. And now let's generate the tweets. Okay, API object does not have attribute search. Okay, I think the problem is I have put a capital letter here. It should be small. Let's run it again. Okay, it does not have attribute search. Search tweet. Okay, now we'll proceed to cleaning up the tweet, removing the retweet and removing the @ handles. Remove the retweet to make it cleaner, remove the @ handle so that we don't have any problem with checking things like a person called @happymike, which will affect the sentiment analysis. So we'll start by doing let's just get rid of this. We'll create a new variable here. We'll call it clean tweet. And this clean tweet will be the tweet dot. First of all, we start by the text. Remember the tweet.text, And then what we want to do with the text, we want to do a replace, where we will replace the RT with a blank space. That will be the first step. The next step will be to remove the art. Remember, if let's just return to what we had. If we run this, you can see there's a retweet here, then there's a blank space, and then there's an art which has at the end has this semicolon, this full colon. And also when we go a little bit further, we can see I'm looking for a handle that does not have a retweet next to it. Let me just look for it. Okay, there are handles that don't have retweets on them. What we can do, we can have like 1,000 of them, or let's take 100. Let me just do this. Let me just take this. Okay, I'll comment this one out, then I'll paste it here, then I'll run the code again. I want you to see the differences that are there. As you can see, there are these ones that are after retweet. Okay, it says finish generating them. After retweet, there's always an @ sign, and after the handle, there's this column. And also, if you check on okay, I'm looking for one with no retweet. Sorry, let's run it again. While cleaning this, there are some which have a retweet on them, RT, and some that don't have. If we check closely, we'll see one that does not have. Okay, let's just finish. Okay, no problem. Let me show you by first. There's this one. When you look at this one that does not have a retweet before it, it does not have this colon. So we'll have to clean the ones with the colon and the ones that don't have the colon. Let me show you how we are going to do that. So after removing this, we'll also go ahead and create something here. We create an if statement, conditional statement, where it will take the clean text, then it checks if it starts with if it starts with a space, then @ if it starts with that, what we want to do, we'll just write position equals clean text dot index, and then it will check for the colon. This is the first one. then it will just transform the clean text to be equal to the clean text, sorry, clean tweet, and then it will take the position and then it will add 2 to it. Perfect. And then I will just for you to understand what I've done, I'll just print out this. I'll just print clean tweet and run this. Oh, sorry. We'll just let me just tools. Let me just cancel build. Oh, it has finished. No problem. We want it to go 2 onwards, 2 and onwards, to make sure it has removed everything that's before that, and goes 2 and onwards. Let's run this again. Okay, you can see we don't have retweets here, but remember I said these ones that never started with RT don't have semicolons, so don't have the full colon, so it will not find them. So for us to have this, we'll just have the same logic, and then we'll just have the same logic, but now we'll have that, and it will not look for that, it will look for a blank space, and when we run this again, we'll not find the @ signs now. Give it a moment just to think about it. We'll not go too far into just into cleaning this, but we just want to find out the general perspective of people towards this. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it looks better now. It is taking some time, but no problem, because I gave it 100 tweets. Yeah, I can just go. As you can see, it looks better now to move most of the @ signs. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So what you're going to do now is create a TextBlob. Now we are going to start using TextBlob. TextBlob, and just create a kind of a polarity where it will check on TextBlob, and then it will check TextBlob of the clean tweet. Now of this clean tweet, not the tweet itself, but more of the clean tweet which has undergone the cleaning process. I'll just comment this one out. Okay, and then because we want to have a polarity that starts with 0, we can just add it here. Polarity equals 0. Anything below 0 is negative, anything above 0 is positive, and then we can just maybe print polarity, and then we can run this. Okay, what's going on? Just save this and redo that again. I wanted it to give us more of a polarity. Let me check where the problem might be. Okay. The problem here is let me just This is actually supposed to be outside here. Forget that first. First of all, what you need to do is to have this polarity. Then we want it to be iterated or added on every polarity dot analysis. So this is supposed to be analysis, sorry. Let's give it a different name here. So analysis is this text blob of the clean tweet, which gives us a range of every single tweet, whether it's positive or negative, and how positive or negative it is. The more the positive the number, the more positive it is. The more the negative the number, the more negative. If it's 0, it's a neutral tweet. So we want this analysis to be text blob of the clean tweet. Then this polarity that we set at 0, what we want it to do, we want it to be added to the analysis dot polarity. I think that makes sense now. Then we'll go ahead and now print the polarity. Let's run this code now. Okay, it's a 10. So it's positive. Wajakoya is positive. We can go to somebody else like Raila. Run this again. Raila is at a 5. What about Ruto? It's taking a little bit of time, but it will eventually work. What it's doing, it's going through every single tweet, checking on its polarity, and adding those polarities up, and giving us a general term. You can see Ruto is 4, Raila was 5, Wajakoya was 10. So people are very, very positive about Wajakoya on the Twitter. You can just change it to maybe Safaricom. You can look at something like Safaricom, see how if people are very positive about Safaricom or very negative about it. Most of these things usually come to a positive figure. Most of them usually come to a positive figure, even if we check on something as bad as who was this lady? Maribe. Probably she'll have a negative one. Let's just see. Because of Jackie Maribe, because of what happened with the case of them being accused of allegedly killing someone in a house or something. These NLPs are not perfect. They are pre-trained. They're not perfect, but they try their best to just give us a general scope of how people think about something. You can see the Jackie Maribe is people are very, very positive about her, but basically not happy is usually taken as something happy. That's how TextBlob works. You can use a different version of NLP, like a Flare maybe, but this is what generally people think about her. We can check on something like M-Pesa. We can just have, I think what you can also do, you can just have dot lower here. Okay, what you can first do, okay, so something else we can do, we can just add dot lower here, change that maybe to a capital letter, then just say clean text equals to clean text dot lower. So whatever we get here, we made into a lowercase, and we will compare the search term will be also made into a lowercase, and I think that's how it will work. Perfect. Okay, it usually, if you check on something like happy, if you check on something like happy, you can see it's very, very high. And if you check on something like let's check on something like Bitcoin, let's see how Bitcoin will fare. Eight, okay, yeah, and that's how TextBlob works. We can do comparison between two things, etc, etc, and that's how TextBlob works. It is pre-trained, and I think they are working more and more on this, because if you check on something like war, that's something that's supposed to be very negative, but it usually just brings a value of, you can see it's still positive, slightly positive. So what we can do, maybe we can start maybe our polarity at maybe 5, sorry, -5, and then this will at least bring things a little bit better. Okay, or we can, let's add to 10,000 tweets. This will take a while. Okay, it ran for a very long time, but then it came and finished up and said that too many requests, 429, too many. Okay, but now you understand how it works. Well, something else that we can do, let's just put it at 250. Okay, I've just checked the documentation, and I've realized that we're not supposed to make more than 900 requests in less than 15 minutes. So that's why it was bringing a lot of errors, but no problem. Yeah, something else we can do here, we can actually check on how many tweets are positive, how many are negative. By first, let's just put the polarity at 0 and have negative be equal to 0, positive be equal to 0, and neutral be equal to 0. So what we want to do now, so let's just rename this to tweet polarity underscore polarity, and then have these if statements here. So if tweet polarity is greater than 0, what we want it to do, if it's greater than 0, we want it to take the positive and add have I written positive correctly here? Positive. Let me just change this and change this too. On the positive to be equal to itself plus tweet polarity. Sorry, itself plus tweet polarity. And then elif if it's neutral. Sorry. Elif if tweet polarity is equals to 0. Want it to be neutral. And else if tweet polarity, don't think I have to write this down because it will check on that, but no problem, is less than 0, so that we can understand. We want it to take negative, and you'll understand what I'm trying to do here in a few. Plus equals tweet polarity. Perfect. Okay, so the logic here is if it wants to check if the tweet polarity is equals to 0, then it will it will add 1 item to the tweet to the positives. If it's neutral, it will add 1 item, sorry. And else we can just don't need this, plus plus equals 1. So if it's more than 0, so if its polarity is positive of each tweet, it adds 1 to the positive. If it's neutral, it adds 1 to the neutral, and if it's negative, it adds 1 to the neutral, so that we can see all of them together. So we can print something like the amount of positive tweets are colon, just put this inside that, and then let's just add f here, and then now this it will take the parameter positive, like that, and then you can just have this copy paste, where now this can be neutral. I don't know why I put this neutral as a capital letter, but it's just and then you can have negative here, negative here, and then you can have negative here. Okay, I think that's good. Analysis to tweet. Okay, let's run this. If we have any mistake, I probably think there's a mistake. Okay, yeah, it's supposed to be equal, no problem. Tweet polarity is not defined, sorry. Okay, the problem here, as you can see, tweet polarity is supposed to be equal to. Okay, I think everything's fine. Let's reduce this so it runs a little less time. Yeah, so if you Google war, you can see 7 positive, 9 negative, neutral, 4 positive, so it runs a little bit better. We can change this to Wajakoya, Wajakoya, I think that's the spelling. Check the 100 tweets. Kenyans are really positive about Wajakoya. You can see most people are neutral, very many people are positive also, negative are very few. If you check on Martha Karua, you can see very many people are positive, mostly are neutral, a couple of negatives. You can also check on Rigathi. Is it Rigathi Gachagua? Rigathi Gachagua. See what people say about Rigathi. Most people are just neutral. You can run this with just Gachagua run. And you can see it like that. So that's how you just work with TextBlob, which is a natural language processing model, pre-trained, is an machine learning AI thing, and that's how it works. Hope this was informative. Hope you learned something. Throw a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Okay, before we are done, I've decided to add a couple of things here. So when you look at this, let me just get rid of this. Okay, and this. So what I have done, let's just put it at 10 and have Safaricom here. What I have done, I've added a couple of things, and you'll see what how it looks. When it finishes, it brings this seaborn kind of a bar graph, where it tells us the positive, the neutral, the negative, and you can see how they fare. And this is a better way of showing it, which is a graphical representation. What I have done, I have added this polarity. I've created a dictionary here, and this dictionary I have added a couple of things here. I've added seaborn, I've added matplotlib, and I've added pandas. The seaborn and matplotlib is for the display and the graphical representation. Pandas is to help in creating a data frame. And using this, we can see that the polarity, I've made the polarity be a dictionary with positive, having the key of positive, just like these ones. And then I have made a data frame with the polarity as this, converting this polarity into a data frame rather than just having it being a dictionary with an index of Twitter number. Then I have transposed this, and when the reason I have transposed it with this .t is so that it moves from looking like, let me just delete this. So when I print this out, you can see how it looks. It's positive, neutral, negative Twitter tweet numbers, which are my index. And when it looks like this, I don't want it to look like this. I want it to have the positive, neutral, negative on the Y column, so that SNS can help me in creation of the bar graph. So what I did, I added .t here, and when I print this out, you can see it will change and it will transpose and look a little bit different. You can see. So I've created a data frame here. I've used these keys to create this data frame. Now you can see this looks like it's a data frame. It's like a CSV or an Excel type of file. So it's very easy to create. It's very easy to create graphs from that. But when you try to creating a graph, you just have only one column here, and the positive, neutral, negative are the index, and the for us to be able to create a graph, we both need the x and the y, and the x here is an index. So we'll just reset the index so that it looks something like, if we come here and just do dot reset index and do that, you can see it will create a new index here, 012. So, and then it will name this index. So we'll use this index and this tweet number to create the bar graph, and that's why when you look at this is Seaborn code. It needs this to show the graph. I have said the data frame itself is df, but reset index reset, and then uses this index as the x-axis and y-axis as tweet number. And then now when we run the code, it will bring us the necessary graph the way we want it to look. So I think this looks really nice, perfect, and yes, makes it way better. So I hope you've learned something. See you in the next one. Adios muchacho, peace.